Welcome, everybody. I am Jewel Schifrins. I'm the school social work coordinator at Children's Nebraska. So I think maybe you've all seen that we had a name change recently. So we're pretty excited about that. So I'm still getting used to saying Children's Nebraska. But we're excited to have you joining us today. We have Jen Miller from Parent Training Institute, I think is what the PTI stands for. And so she is going to be sharing some information with us today. And we will share the CNE information at the end so that you know what you need to do to claim your credits for being here today. So Jen, I am going to let you go ahead and take over from here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm so excited to speak to you all today. Really quick about me, and then I'll dive into the presentation. My name is Jen Miller. I'm the executive director at PTI Nebraska. I have worked here for about 13 years. I was a parent outreach coordinator and then took this position in December. So still kind of new, but things are going great. And why I am here is I have three awesome, wonderful kiddos. My oldest, they're 20, 16, and 14. So my oldest does have a rare genetic disorder, a chromosome abnormality. So rare that he's the only one in the medical database with his exact genetic disorder. Pretty amazing. And that has led to global developmental delays. And what that has led to is he's severely affected. So he's 20 and he does function at a toddler level, depending on the skill area, like 12 months to 48 months, but we get the whole team, everybody gets excited when we see a new skill and we're like, we think that's kindergarten, like, like the crowd goes wild. So it's pretty awesome. And with those global development delays, he has a severe intellectual disability. He does a learning disability, epilepsy, and autism. So I have to just tell you right now, I have loved all of my son's school nurses, and they means so much to me. So to be able to speak to you all today just makes my heart happy. So, all right, we're going to get going so I don't cry. All right. So first, just what is a parent training and information center? So the parent training and information centers, called PTIs, they are mandated and funded by the U.S. Department of Education, the Office of Special Education Populations. So that means every state has to have at least one center mandated by the federal government. There are at least 100 PTIs across the U.S. Nebraska, we just have one, but I believe California has about 6 or 7. So there's different amounts in different states. The centers all provide a variety of services for families who have children and young adults with disabilities, and also for educators and other professionals who support them. So among those services, some of the main ones that all the PTIs do across the U.S. is assist families birth to 26. So that's the infants, toddlers, children, teens, youth, young adults, all the way to 26. In case you have a question, I get asked this sometimes, why 26? Because most people will say, well, we know we provide services. There's an 18 to 21 transition. And absolutely, there are a few states out there that do provide those type of services till age 26. Nebraska is not one of them. We do have an 18 to 21 program, but we don't have a to 26 program. But because of some states do, that's why we serve birth to 26. And along that note, we are not going to turn someone away. I like to happily tell people the story, and it resonates here in a big way. Is several years ago, got a call from someone in their 30s, and they wanted to go back to college. And there were some mental health challenges. So wanted to know if they could get any help in college. So we have information about college and what's called a 504 plan and different accommodations a person can have. And so I am happy to report that that person went to college, and not only college, but nursing school, and they are a registered nurse in Nebraska. Yay! So I always tell that story, and now I get to tell it to you awesome nursing professionals. So yes, birth to 26, but any age, let us know. We will try to help find what they're looking for, the resources they need, the people they need to talk to, no matter what age they are. Other services, just helping parents participate effectively in their children's education and partnering with professionals to help improve outcomes for all kiddos with disabilities. For those of you who like a little data, and just so you know, our grant year runs October through September. So we do not have the most recent grant year that currently ended. We don't have those numbers yet. Everything has to be turned in by November and December. So these are the previous years. But for anybody who likes data, here are some great numbers. These are all the PTIs across the US put together. Just some great numbers of helping parents and professionals. So that was the PTIs in general. So now this is what is PTI Nebraska. So we are a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. We serve as the state of Nebraska's Parent Training and Information Center. Our office is located in Omaha, and we do serve the entire state. And I did put a link there to some great information. The Parent Center Hub is great information for parents and professionals, all about special education and just a lot of topics related to that. I like to explain that so PTI Nebraska is the name of the nonprofit, and you'll see later it's also the name of one of our grants. If through this Parent Center Hub link, you can also find all the other parent centers across the US. So if you have other parents, and I know Children's Hospital has parents that traveling from different states. Well, if they need information about a PTI in Missouri or Kansas or Colorado, this link can take them to the PTI in their state. And sorry, my computer just glitched. I hope I'm still there, right? Okay,
Yes,
woo,
we can
sorry.
see you
It
and
said
hear
it was
you and your screen is
it said
good.
it was unstable, and I got nervous there. Okay. So that is a great link to use to help find information for all the states too. Now, you will find that those PTIs, most of them have changed their name to a bunch of different things. So our PTI, it's a little unique. Our PTI Nebraska is the nonprofit name, and it's also a grant name. But when you go in there, if you're searching for other PTIs, you'll see they have all sorts of names, Parents Connect or Families Matters, or just a bunch of different names. We stayed true to the grant, and we're just PTI Nebraska. Didn't change the nonprofit name. And then PTI Nebraska, we offer a variety of different projects to meet the needs of families across the state who have children with disabilities. So what's our mission? To empower parents, enable them to advocate effectively for their children's needs, and have the capacity to improve both educational and healthcare outcomes for their kiddos. So here are our PTI Nebraska projects. So this is the one I mentioned. Our first project and one of our biggest projects is the Parent Training and Information Grant. So that is funded by the U.S. Department of Ed. Through that project, we provide information, training, and support to help parents advocate for their children's needs to be met appropriately in school through receiving early intervention and special education services. And again, we do serve families from ages birth to 26. So our next project is an early childhood project, and that is grant funded by the Nebraska Department of Education. So that's an early childhood focus, birth to age 5. We have a coordinator who can talk about early development network, early intervention services for kiddos birth to 3, getting them on individualized family service plans called IFSPs, and then transitioning from that little guy plan, IFSP, to IEPs, the individualized education programs. That age 3 to 5, we take lots of preschool questions, lots of childcare questions in that age. And then this grant, there also is a parent leadership opportunity work through that grant too. So another one of our projects is our Young Adult Transition Project. This is grant funded again by the Nebraska Department of Education. And so this focuses on those teens and young adults age 14 on up through 26. So lots of information and questions on IEPs and transition plans in school, information on planning for adulthood, that life after high school. And we also can help with 504 accommodation plans. And that is both for students who have 504 plans in school, but also in college. Parents need to know that special education, IEPs, and in high school, there are no IEPs or special education in college, but there is something called a 504 accommodation plan that people with different disabilities and special needs can have in college. And so we can share information about that. And then another project is our Family to Family Health Information Center. And I'm super excited to share this one with you. And actually, my coworker Lisa was going to do this presentation, and she is our F2F Health Information Center, but it didn't work out. And you guys get me, but she's awesome. And now I get to tell you about her project. So PTI Nebraska serves as the state of Nebraska's Family to Family Health Information Center. So there's a health information center in all different states and different nonprofit. They would be associated with different nonprofits. So this is funded by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So F2F provides support, information, and trainings to families who care for children and youth with special healthcare needs. I couldn't say it any better, so I just copy and pasted one of the definitions that you can get from the website. But so those children and youth with special healthcare needs are children and youth who have or are at increased risk for chronic physical, developmental, behavioral, or emotional conditions, or who also require health and related services beyond that is required by children generally. So she'll often get questions about children who have complex needs, significant needs, go into the medical health needs. And I have a few more slides because I thought this would be just great information for all you wonderful nurses. And so you can know about this and, help parents know about this. So the F2F helps families partner with schools to meet children's health and medical needs. She fields questions about various medical and healthcare needs, school nursing services, individualized healthcare plans, we call the IHPs. So she talks to people about various healthcare procedures. Parents will have questions about tube feedings, catheterization, trach care, medication management, diabetes care, epilepsy plans, failure to thrive nutrition plans. Parents will have questions about diaper changes and just lots, the list could go on. Lots of questions there. So she does help the families and the parents work with the schools and work with their IFSP teams for the little guys, the IEP teams, and the 504 teams. A little bit more about the work in her grant. So the F2F works to enhance access to quality healthcare and community and state services. So she is our guru when it comes to state services. And that it's a huge need. People need to know all these things. So she can talk about adult health services and providers, health insurance coverage, medical and financial resources necessary to achieve improved outcomes for the families. She will talk through, Medicaid, adult service options in regards to the waivers, SSI. What we have found and the feedback she has given is a lot of times, sometimes parents don't know about all these things, or maybe they've heard about them and it's overwhelming. Like it's just overwhelming. There's so many pieces to it. Or they tend to lump everything together, not sure if everything's separate, related, are the same thing. So a parent might call and say, I need to know about that. I heard about DD services and a wait list and a waiver and Medicaid and SSI. Can I get on that? And like that, whoa, that's a lot right there. We need to talk through what all of those are and discuss what they are and how they're related or not related and how they're different. So she is our guru who gets in there and talks lots of questions about the application process, and rightfully so. She also shares information about decision-making options. So there's supported decision-making, where the young adult with disabilities is making decisions for themselves with help from others. And that can look a lot of different ways. But then there's other options. We can discuss guardianship, power of attorney, conservatorship, payee rep, some different options there. So again, a lot of pieces that she can help families with. So those were the projects that PTI Nebraska has. So just a little bit about the services. So what do we offer? Trainings. We do trainings on a variety of topics related to special education and disabilities. We do them in person and online. I will say, since COVID, we get a lot more requests for online trainings. Which has been great. We can reach a lot of people through online. We do serve the entire state, so yeah, that has been a positive thing. But we do also do in person as well, if that is wanted. Another service is the individual assistance we provide, or that parent support. And last but not least, I put information and resources. I like to refer to ourselves as information pushers. We love sharing information. We have a lot of it, and we like to get it out there to families. And what is awesome when we get to talk to professionals like you is, we want to get our resources and information in your hands too. We know you're working with these families, and if we can help you, we want you to have the information too. And we can give information, email. That's I think that's our most requested one. We can mail things. We do have a fax machine. Sometimes we fax, but I'd say email, or people do stop by the center and pick up information. We have information on our website that could be downloaded. So lots of different ways. We also have vendor tables or information tables at different events, and we enjoy doing that. It is a great way to network with parents and professionals. We go to different conferences. Some school districts are asking us to come to their back to school nights to talk about transition and adult services, and that planning for adulthood, and a couple of school districts have brought us in, and I need to come up with a better name than this, but right now my coworker called it a paperwork party, and I'm like, well, we probably need to coin something. But right now we've been brought in to do a few paperwork parties for some school districts who they said, hey, do you have a developmental disabilities application that you want to put in? Do you have an application for Medicaid that you think you need to fill out that someone has told you? Do you have an application for SSI? Again, it can be overwhelming and confusing, and we understand that. So we have been brought in to help with that paperwork, and that's been a positive thing. So I foresee more of those. I just need to come up with a different term, unless paperwork party works for everybody. I guess it puts it in a positive light, right? Let's do paperwork. Okay. I'm not sure who gets excited about that. Somebody does. And we connect with individuals by phone, lots of talking, email, online tools like Zoom, also in person if they come to the office, or when we can connect with individuals at those various trainings we conduct across the state, or different events that we attend, and different meetings that we go to too. I love this one. No charge. Our services are free. That makes me happy to say. So everything we do is free for parents and professionals. I tell parents, it only costs your time, and we know time is valuable. I know your time is valuable, and appreciate it so much. But we're trying to get everybody the information that they need. So we ask, can you please, give us the time, come to a training, or check out our website, or listen to a podcast, and get that information that you need. But we're free. Conversations are kept confidential. It's really important for parents to know that, especially we get questions, well, you're grant funded. We see U.S. Department of Ed. Ooh, we see Nebraska Department of Ed. Are you going to go tell people? No. All conversations are completely confidential. If a parent does want us to talk to a professional they're working with, and share information, we have a release of information sheet that we could fill out, but unless one of those is filled out, everything is completely confidential. All the staff at PTI are parents or family members of children and young adults, or adults with disabilities. So we often tell parents, we do understand our kiddos can have completely different disabilities or special healthcare needs, might be on an IEP, IFSP, 504, might be in college. I mean, and even though the disability might be different, the concern or question might be different, we truly do understand, because we like to say the emotion is there. The same emotion is there. We are understanding, where the parent's coming from. So when you call PTI, you're talking to someone who does have an understanding of how things work and of the emotions involved. And I think that's a positive thing. Very important that parents know that we are not legal advocates and we do not give legal advice. There are some parents who want us to be and would like us to be, and we simply do not. We do have a short list of legal resources we can give parents if that is the route they want to go. But we always make clear that we are not those legal advocates, and we can't give legal advice, and we can't appear anywhere and argue the law or anything like that. So parents, they have an important role in their kiddos' education. Why? Because they're responsible for their child's first role model, their first teacher. They have their child's best interests at heart, know their child better than anyone, and have the right to make decisions for their child. And we know that parents need support. Parents often need someone to talk to about their child's needs and education. And so here we are, PTI Nebraska. Along with that support, here are just a few common things that we hear from parents that we like to share. That top one is hands down the one we hear most often. I heard it twice yesterday. I don't know what I don't know. That's where a lot of parents are operating from. They simply just don't know what they don't know. So what goes into that? Many times they don't know what questions to ask their school teams or what they can ask for in their child's education plan. I don't know what resources are available. And that could be both school-based and outside of school-based. I don't know what my rights are or my child's rights. We get asked that a lot. What are my parental rights? What are my child's rights in each of these plans? What should the school be providing to my child? Great question. And that's individualized, right? Individuals based on your child's educational needs. We often hear, I feel overwhelmed and I don't know how to help my child. So those are just some common things. And that's another reason why parents need that support. So we can help navigate, right? Parents do need help navigating. We can help them kind of work through the following programs and processes. So there are student assistance teams, often called SAT, but I just wanted to give a heads up that they could also be called MTSS and RTI. And some school districts rename their SAT teams different names as well, but I just wanted to throw out the three maybe most common that you might see. So student assistance teams are regular education problem solving teams that students can get on. So it's not special education, it's not a 504, but it's help in regular education, like interventions, accommodation strategies above what the teacher is doing for everybody in the classroom. So a lot of parents have never heard of SAT teams. And so we, can talk through that process. Then early intervention and, early childhood services. So that's that IFSP I mentioned. Then we can help them understand special education. So that's the IEPs. And that includes the related services that could be considered. There's 16 of them. And a lot of parents don't know that. It includes going through behavior plans. There could be a lot of pieces there. And also addressing participation in extracurricular and non-academic activities, such as field trips or classroom parties or all school assemblies, different things like that. We can help them go through transition plans in the IEP for those students who are 14 on up. We can help them with their Section 504 accommodation plans. And again, that could be for the school age and also if the student is planning on going to college. We can help them understand and work through their individualized healthcare plan, that IHP, with the school nurse. And then also, like I mentioned, help them understand all those pieces to the state and adult disability programs and services. So as you can see, a lot of pieces, right? And so it's easy to see how a parent could be overwhelmed or just not exactly know, okay, which route do I go, or what question do I ask? And so that's why we are here to help. PTI Nebraska can help parents increase their knowledge and advocacy skills, understand their rights and responsibilities, understand their child's disability and or specific medical health care condition and how it impacts their education, help collaborate more effectively with educators, know about the resources, both school-based and community-based, and help and make informed decisions about their child's education. We recently sent out a survey through our newsletter and asked for responses, and we got a good amount back from both parents and professionals. And one thing that rang true, well, okay, two things that rang true was a lot of people said they need information about transition plans, and those state services and adult type services, the waivers and DD and Medicaid and SSI. They do want that information. And then the other thing that rang true was they need more information about their resources, which I think is why it's great that we're doing this, because they need more school-based and community-based, what's out there. And again, it can be overwhelming trying to, somebody says, well, go look for your resources. Oh, where am I supposed to start, right? So knowing that we're going to start having some meetings to figure out, how can we make sure that parents are understanding what are the resources out there, both within the school district, within the educational service units, referred to as ESUs across the state, that help support the schools. And then what are the community-based, support groups, hospitals, different groups, behavioral health. Yeah, so we're going to be working on that, since a lot of responses were in our survey about needing that information. Okay, for anybody who likes a little bit of data, and again, we don't have our numbers from this grant year yet because our grant year just ended on September 30th. So this is from the year before, but we did have direct assistance with over 2,000 families and professionals, and we did conduct over 60 trainings on a variety of topics related to special education and disabilities. And we did distribute over 15,000 pieces of printed and electronic information. And that is not counting our newsletter, because with our newsletter, it would have been a lot higher, but that was just handouts when people need information. I need information on special education, or, oh, my child's newly diagnosed with autism. We have some handouts, or, just lots of information that we like to give out. A little more data. Ran a report. I thought it would be interesting for people to know the top 5 topic areas that people contact us about the most, whether it's a call or an email or after a training, if we get contacted. And so here are the top 5. And I need you to know these were really close. Like there was no huge gap. Like these were all within 5 points from each other. So the top one, by just a small margin, was evaluations, testing, and assessments. And that includes a lot. That can be parents asking about getting special education evaluations, or asking about doing a re-evaluation. It can also be asking about doing an independent education evaluation, referred to as an IEE. It includes 504, asking about evaluations to get a 504, helping them get on that SAT, that student assistance team, getting maybe an extra assessment. A parent who says, oh, I think I want, can I get an assistive technology based evaluation done? Or can I get a handwriting or an OT? So that top one includes a lot of questions about various evaluations and assessments. The second one is questions about special education law, Rule 51 compliance. So Rule 51 is Nebraska's special education regulations. And so with those, a lot of parents will have a question and say, could you tell me where I could address this in Nebraska's regulations? So if I have a question about transportation, could you tell me the section of Rule 51? If I have a question about behaviors, or I have a question about transition. So if a parent says, oh, I have a question about evaluations, I'd like to look that up in the regs, what is that? Then we would tell them, oh, okay, in Rule 51, evaluations is section 006. So go to that section and look down. Oh, I have a question about IEPs. Can I see what's in there about parent participation in meetings? Yes. So 007 is the section in Rule 51 that they would go to, and we can lead them to that parent participation. So lots of different questions about that. The third is behaviors. That was several that I just put all together because they were so close. So that includes questions about behavior plans, questions about functional behavior assessments, referred to as FBAs, and also questions about disciplinary actions. Kiddos being disciplined who have IEPs or 504s, and that will include questions about some suspensions and a student's day being shortened due to behaviors. So that entails a lot. The fourth was placement, which didn't surprise us at PTI because a lot of times questions about placement, where a student is getting their education, that might accompany a student who's having behaviors. So a parent might ask the question, hey, my kiddo's having some behaviors. We're going to have an IEP meeting, and I was told we were going to discuss a continuum of placement options. So right there, we put in, oh, okay, so we're going to be talking to this parent about behaviors and placement there. So that didn't really surprise us that those were closely in line in the data. And then last but not least, and remember these were really close, was transition. And that's questions about transition plans and that planning for adulthood, and just a lot goes into that too. It can be employment, it could be planning for college, it can be what type of independent living skills or self-help skills could a school be working on. And there's so many different independent living skills, life skills, self-help skills that could be worked on in transition. And sometimes parents don't know that. Many times they think it's just employment or college, and they don't realize that you can work on independent living skills. You could work on community participation, leisure education in that transition plan. How is their social life going to look after high school? So we like telling parents that and sharing that with them. This is our staff list, and me and an office assistant, and I manage those projects. So we have our early childhood coordinator, and then we do have 2 school age coordinators who's mostly, elementary, middle school. And then we do have a transition coordinator, Sharon, who's at 14 to 21. We do have an Hispanic outreach coordinator, Ada, and she is birth to 21, the whole gamut. And then Lisa, I mentioned, is that Family to Family Health Information Center coordinator, and she's birth to 21 too. Woo, we're getting to the end. Yay. Okay. There's our website. We are currently updating it. And I got to tell you, we got a lot of updates planned. So slowly but surely they are getting done. But just keep checking back, because and I'm not kidding, when my last count, I let our awesome tech people who like us, and I hope they still like us after hearing this, I told them, I think I have like 108 changes to send you. Sorry. But we just, I don't know, planning and organizing and getting great feedback when we go out and talk to different groups about what they would like to see or what would be helpful. So I will tell you, do not, after this training, go look at our Family to Family F2F page. It is old and outdated, and that is one of the next that's going to be updated, and we are super excited. But it will have more information on all the things that this presentation mentions, and those IHPs and all those different healthcare procedures that parents have questions about, and more information on, those epilepsy plans and diabetes care things. So don't go there today. Soon. I'll let you guys know, but we're excited to get that updated. We do have downloadable materials. We do have a monthly newsletter, and there's a tab for it on the website, and people can also subscribe to it. We have various PTI webinars and a podcast series, an events calendar, and then just lots of information about supports and services that could be locally, statewide, and nationally. These are lots of words on these slides. Sorry about that. But these are most of the trainings that we offer. And we're updating it. And again, that's going to be on our website. But until then, I wanted to get these in your hands so you could see, a bunch of the different trainings that we offer. And if you think there's a group that would benefit from any of these, all of these. I'm kidding. There's so many. If you tell me you need all of them, we're going to be busy. But, if you think a group would benefit from those, then we can do that. Or take a look, and if you say, oh, what's this one and this one and this one? Recently, we just got a request. Somebody said, this is what we want. We saw your listings and we would like this, but then could you add this? And then could you end with this? And I said, well, that is like 3 different trainings that could be 6 hours if you wanted me to chat at you for 6 hours, which nobody wants that, right? But I said, well, here's what we can do. So I can, the meat and potatoes of them, we can, what do you need to know, what's going to address the need for your group. So we were able to kind of pull and then create something that took an hour and a half, much better than 6 hours, and got them the information they needed. Plus we have some additional handouts or supplementary handouts to give, because like I said, we are information pushers. So there is the early childhood, and then a bunch of school aged ones that you can look through, and then transition ones, family to family health, and then our other trainings, just some other general ones that we have. Like October is anti-bullying awareness month, and so we're going to do a bullying presentation this month. And I am so sorry if you hear my dog barking, but she wants in my room and I cannot let her. She loves so deep. She just can't be parted. It's really just about food, but she wants in and I'm not letting her. So gotta love those labs and how they're always hungry. Always. Okay, we do have a podcast series. It is called Talking Special Needs. You can find it on our website, and also you can access it through Buzzsprout. And then we always tell parents you can contact us if have a question about special education. That's just kind of the general, like any special education question, call us. But we also want parents to know your kiddo doesn't have to be in special education to call us. And I want you to be able to tell the families and the parents that you're working with that if they just have a question about general education, if a parent has a question, my child's behind in speech, maybe because of this and this and this that happened. Okay, give us a call. We can help, see what they want to do, give them the options of how they want to address that. We, can talk about that SAT team or the 504 or IFSP or IEP. We can answer questions about kiddos who get served in non-public schools. Again, those health and medical concerns, we can field those calls, 504 questions, much more. Every now and then a parent will say, oh, well, my child has XYZ medical condition and was in the hospital for 2 years. I didn't call you because, my child didn't have an IEP or didn't have special education. And we were like, oh no, like you don't have to have special education. Yes, it's a main thing that we do. But no, you could definitely call us for a bunch of other reasons. You don't have to be in special education. So please reach out. You would like information about specific disabilities. You would like to schedule a training in your community or via the internet. And then you would like information on additional resources. And again, that's a big one that came from that survey that we did. People need the resources. And then here's just our contact information: mainline, toll free. We have a general email address, our physical address, we do have a fax, and then our website, and we are also on Facebook. I've been told we need to get on Instagram, and you know what? Soon we're trying to navigate Facebook first. And let me see, oh yes, a few resources. So yes, if you are working with parents, families, and they need information, about anything, right? Anything related to their education, their special education, disabilities, and you can direct them to our website or direct them to PTI, right? And we can talk to them. If they want some specific resources too, I just wanted to give you a few. The top one is the link to that Rule 51 I mentioned, Nebraska Special Education Regulations, that we get a lot of questions about. It's like 100 and some pages, so it's not a pretty read. So I'm not saying woohoo, go for it, but there you go. If parents want it, if they say, oh, I really need like the special education regulations, there you go, Rule 51. Then, pretty cool, at the Nebraska Department of Ed's website, under the parent information, there are some parent-friendly resource documents there that the Nebraska Department of Ed and PTI help create together. There's a family guide on special education that is great, that helps parents understand. There's an overview of special education. Then there's a bunch of individual documents on different topics, evaluations, those independent evaluations, something called prior written notice that a lot of parents don't know about. Just a lot of different stuff, discipline, tips on how to resolve disagreements. So that would be a great place to send parents to get some information. There's 20 plus documents there, the parent-friendly ones. And then under that, again, the Nebraska Department of Ed, they have some technical assistance guidance documents that we will often send parents. So I wanted you all to know about those. Parents have specific questions about accommodations. There's a great accommodations guidelines that we will send them to. If they have questions about occupational therapy or physical therapy services, Nebraska Department of Ed has a guidance doc about those. So just like for parents to know about those. And then last but not least, again, at the NDE website, they did put together a great document on supporting behavior, how to support students who have behaviors, and it talks about behavior plans and functional behavior assessments. So yeah, we often will give those out and more because we have more, but that's a good place to start. Oh, and look at that. I didn't go over the time. I'm so excited. So last but not least, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me chat with you and tell you about parent training centers and the PTI Nebraska and all of our projects and, you know, all the services that we can provide. So thank you for letting me do that. And thank you for what you do. This is my son. I had to share him. So this is my 20-year-old. Like I said, I have an adoration, huge respect for all of the nurses that have been involved with his care since he was diagnosed with epilepsy in elementary school. It has been a ride, and it is still a ride. I feel like when you have the school nurse like on speed dial, you know, like you're you're in it. But I sincerely appreciate everything that his school nurses have done for him and brought to the team and just help keep him safe, and just I can't rave enough. And so I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. And you help so many parents. And so if we can help partner with you, please let me know. If we can, you know, help give you information that helps you help them, please let me know. I'm excited to get our website updated, especially that F2F, because I think that will be a good place for you to direct families to talk about IHPs and all those different things. And so I will let you know when that is updated. And I think it's great, as you've seen in this presentation, and you'll get a copy of it, they said, there's so many pieces. There's just so many pieces. My son's 20, and we've been through so many pieces, right? The little guys, the IFSP, then you got the special education, then you add transition, more pieces. Then we had to add adult services. So now that he's 20, I've been through it, and I got to tell you, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why it's easy for parents to need some help, to need some navigation, to need information, to need to know that they're not alone. And so, you know, thank you for being there for them. And if we can help explain any of those pieces, you just let us know. If you need us to talk through SAT teams or 504s, and we can do that. All right. I'm so excited. Usually I'm like, a cane comes and pulls me off because I talk way too much, but I think I was super focused because I know your guys' time is so valuable. So I wanted
Perfect timing.
to make sure I used it wisely. But thank you so much. And were there any questions or?
I haven't seen any questions come through the chat yet, so I just wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to either come off mute or ask a question in the chat. If you have any questions for Jen, Jen, thank you so much for sharing all of the wonderful resources and services that are available through PTI. So we'll give it just a second here to see if anybody has any questions. I do have one, maybe two questions for you, Jen, while we're waiting to see if anyone else does. So I know you mentioned that you do have one Spanish speaking bilingual staff member for those families who are Spanish speaking. I'm curious to know what you can do to support families who are non-English speaking, but also non-Spanish speaking. So, have a language other than those two languages.
Yeah, great question. And you know what? I should add this in the presentation. See, thank you. You always making us better. We do have a translation service that we can use through the phone. And so, yeah, absolutely. Would love to use it. So I had to choose the top 7 language, I thought, but then the service that we use is, I want to say they said 48 different languages. So yes.
Awesome. Okay.
um,
Good information.
yes, connect with us and we can get that going.
And then you might have mentioned it at the beginning when maybe I was trying to multitask and let people in and type in the chat, but I know that the programming is statewide. Do you have regional representatives, or is everybody located in your Omaha office that serves the state?
Great question. So I would have said we're all located in the Omaha metro area until recently. Most of us are. A lot of people split time between the office in Omaha and at home. Again, that came about from COVID too, which is great. I recently, okay, most of us are there. Sorry, most of us are in the Omaha metro area, but our new parent outreach coordinator is located in Arcadia, Nebraska, and so she's in the center of Nebraska. I'm terrible. I'm directionally challenged, but I believe she's like an hour 10 away from like Kearney, Hastings, Grandi in that area. So she is out there. She's our first one. Everybody at PTI forever have been in the Omaha metro area. And so this is our first time that we do have someone remote. And it's working out great so far. But, we do cover the whole state, which is why some online stuff is beneficial, because it is a jaunt to Scotts Bluff, like woo, getting out there and coming back. So doing some online stuff is helpful when the request does come from somewhere that's 6 to 7 hours away. But again, we'll try to meet that need as best we can.
Awesome. It looks like we have a question here. What kind of support could you provide to parents of students with mental or behavioral health concerns in school?
Great question. Okay, let's see. So one is we can talk through how those, different behavioral and mental health needs need to be addressed in school, right? Whether it's through a behavior plan or social emotional learning that they need to do, an IEP goal, or if they have a 504 through their 504, their behavioral and social emotional needs also need to be met. So we can talk through that. If they need information on what that could look like, again, PTI, like what we do, we give options, right? Ideas, options. So we do have a presentation that is promoting positive mental health in school. And that was at a request of some teachers who said, do you have anything that could maybe cover what needs look like associated, school-based needs look like associated with anxiety, depression, oppositional defiance disorder, and ADHD. And I said, well, we have handouts on those. Like we will share handouts on what needs of different disabilities and disorders could look like, and then talk through, okay, how can those be addressed in school? But we didn't have a presentation. So we do have one that addresses those needs. And we also have a separate one on ADHD. So I think it's, our service would just be to find out what those needs look like, what's happening, what's going on, And then, okay, so what are their options in addressing those? Because they need to be addressed and addressed appropriately and effectively. And so we can, talk to them about that, give them resources. Have they gotten the school psychologist involved? The school counselor can be a great resource. I am huge on 8 heads is better than one. I feel like my own son wouldn't be doing as well if we didn't bring in, everybody to the party and talk and get different perspectives and ideas and really work together and try to understand what we're all seeing and coming from, and put that, I say best plan together. We all know the word best isn't in any of the laws, but if the kiddos, getting their needs met and making progress and being successful, then that's the best. So really trying for that, right? So school psychologist, school counselor, some school districts do have mental health professionals on staff. Can we reach out to them? Some of the educational service units, called ESUs around the state, have behavior specialists or mental health specialists. Can we pull them in? So, is there an outside specialist the family works with? Can they be pulled into the conversation? So again, we would give the parents their options and some ideas about, okay, how can we get this information shared to really get this kiddos' needs met? And then we would give them other resources if they needed outside resources, like all the behavioral health organizations, regions 1 through 6. We can give that information, and anything else that they would need. Many times they will ask us, okay, so are there any behavioral health resources through the state or adult services? So we would field those questions too.
Awesome. We have another question in here. Do you attend IEP SAT meetings or just provide support to parents prior to them going to those meetings? Because
Oh yeah, great question. So here's my best answer. So we do or can attend meetings, but it's really based, on schedules, on time. We can't go to every meeting, right? I would need a way bigger staff if that was the case. And so really we try to look at availability and schedules, and then what are the concerns and questions, and is it someone that we can talk through and prep them and then, download after the meeting? Or is this like more intensive and wow, they need some support at that meeting because of XYZ going on? So I'll just say we do, and it's a kind of case by case basis. Does that sound okay?
I think that answered the question. Yep. Okay. Well, one last thing that I was curious to know from you. So as a parent of a child with special healthcare needs and a professional working with parents of children with special healthcare needs, what's the best piece of advice that you could give to school nurses for engaging and supporting the parents of students in their school that they're working with?
That's a great question. I'm gonna need an hour and some tissues. No, okay. No, that's a great one. I guess best advice, and I'm a person who will give like 5 pieces of advice and not one, so I will try to just keep it to one. No, what's helped me is the nurses. When we talk, it wasn't just about like the epilepsy, like it was like, let's find out about this kiddo. Like, so I'm the school nurse, and yes, his medical condition is epilepsy, and it looks like this, and we're trying to figure out this, and this is his plan, and this could happen, and oh, there's danger risks and this, and oh, he hit his head, and the nurse has got like all those pieces. What was really beneficial and wonderful for me is to have that conversation, but the nurse knew that my son, like, he's a whole person, right? And like there's all the needs. So it is important to understand how all the needs work together. So his epilepsy, or how he reacts and how he recovers, is very different than another person with epilepsy, and it's different because of his other disabilities, right? So the fact that she's like, okay, so I know epilepsy, but let's talk. He has autism. So what does that do to it, right? He has sensory needs. Yep, his sensory needs. Yeah, and that plays into his epilepsy recover, and some of the ticking does. Okay, so then that intellectual disability. So he doesn't know that. So getting to know that whole child. So I hope that you all are given the information so you see the whole the whole child, right? Because I just think then better decisions could be made, or better conversations could be made, or you could have a great idea like, oh, okay, so oh, because I know this, have you thought of this? Or has anybody thought of this? um and so I guess that's just been something that I really valued, is that after talking about my son's needs, it's like, have we missed anything from academic and from functional? And you all know that functional is everything from all, communication to behavior to speech to motor to all, any medical and healthcare and just independent living skills and all of that. Have we missed anything? Like, do we have this picture of this whole child so then we can put together the best plan? I really just appreciated that. I hope that's helpful.
So much for that information. Very helpful. All right. Well, thank you again, Jen, for coming to present. We've